I really think this option does a superb job delivering the fantasy that it's saying it does, right? From
Yeah.
start to finish, you automatically start off with a little baby breath weapon and an infused strike, right? Where
Hmm.
your dragon like breathes a little bit of breath to empower a weapon attack. It's not a perfect one for one, but you get the gist of a full dragon out the gate.
Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today is another Martial Monday. I think it might be the last one. This is our last Ranger subclass, and I think that covers all the martial classes. I'll have another look before we'll we'll do other, the spellcasting subclasses after this. But yes, whatever. It just won't be called Martial Monday anymore. What are we talking about? We're talking about Drake Warden.
Yeah, this is a good one. This I think is my favorite Ranger subclass, but it's a Dragon Rider, so who wouldn't think this is awesome, right? You have to have no inner child to not want to ride a dragon. Just saying. And this gives you the tools to do that. I love
I'm
this
afraid of
subclass dearly.
heights.
So much so that you wouldn't want to ride a dragon?
Like, all right, if it's walking,
There you go. And
which
you
it
can
is
do
for
that.
most of this, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So you're still fine.
yeah,
This came out in Fizban's Treasury Dragons. I love that book dearly. I just wish there was more player juice in it because it gave us like Ascendant or Dragon Monk, which is pretty awesome. It gave us this option, which is pretty awesome. It gave us a bunch of pretty really cool spells. It's nice that they made a book that's like somewhat for players, but also has a bunch of like, monster tools, DM tools, that kind of stuff. Yeah, give us more like that, Wizards. I like that book a lot, and I just want it to be longer. So this is starts us off with the Drake Warden origin, which is a nice little table if you want to roll on it to see like, oh, well, how'd you get your pet? How are you related to dragons? Maybe you're in a secret order of rangers that guard draconic lore. Maybe you have had a vivid dream of a mysterious figure accompanied by 7 yellow canaries. That's like Bahamut and the golden dragons or whatever. Then you woke up and your Drake was there. But the big like mechanic core fundamental feature that you get at third level is called Drake Companion. At third level, you can magically summon the Drake that is bound to you as an action. It appears in an unoccupied space of your choice within 30 feet. It is friendly to you and your companions and obeys your commands. Its game statistics are below. It uses your proficiency bonus in several places. When you summon the Drake, choose a damage type listed in the Draconic Essence trait. You can determine the cosmetic characteristics of the Drake, such as its color, scale, texture, visible effects of Draconic Essence. Your choice has no effect on its statistics, so you basically get to customize and build your own dragon. It's cute. You could already
yeah,
have done that without them telling you this, but hey, sure,
yes,
why not? In combat, the Drake shares your initiative, but takes its turn immediately after yours. It can move and use its reaction on its own, but the only action it takes on its turn is the dodge action, unless you take the bonus action on your turn to command it to take another action. So this is set up exactly like Beastmaster Ranger Redux.
Hmm.
The action can be one in the stat block or another action. If you are incapacitated, the Drake can use any action of its choice, not just dodge. So there is upside to falling unconscious. The Drake can just do stuff. The Drake remains until it's reduced to 0 hit points, until you use this feature to summon a Drake again, or until you die. Anything the Drake was wearing or carrying is left behind when it vanishes. Once you summon the Drake, you can't again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend a first level spell slot or higher to summon it. Which, unlike the Beastmaster Ranger Companion, you can do as an action.
Hmm.
Because the Beastmaster Ranger took 10 minutes. You had to be out of combat for that. Not this one. Your Drake goes down in combat, one first level spell slot in action later, back up, full HP, ready to go.
Yeah,
Pretty,
that's powerful.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. So yeah, the gist of it is you get a bonus action. It doesn't take gist of it in combat. It goes immediately after you, shares your initiative count. Bonus action of your turn tells it what action to use. Otherwise, it dodges, and then it can move and use its reaction as it likes. It listens to your commands, obviously, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
The meat of the stat block is it has a pretty decent AC, so it's 14 plus your proficiency bonus, which means at the top tiers, it just has a flat 20 AC, which is awesome. It starts out as small, but it gets bigger as you level up. We'll touch on that as we get there. It's got a base speed of 40, so this thing is quick. This thing gets around battle maps, no problem. It zooms all over the place. And it also has a really high base strength of 16, despite it being small, which is large. Often it's going to be larger than your strength. It
Yep.
does get bonuses to Dex and Wiz saves and a bunch of other neat little effects. Got Dark Vision. It speaks Draconic. Doesn't speak Common notably. So you maybe want to if you want to communicate with it, you probably should know Draconic. But I think we have a feature that we haven't touched on that gives you that. Um, all of the rest of the stat block is based off the Draconic Essence for the most part. So that when you summon the Drake, you pick Acid, Cold, Fire, Lightning, or Poison damage. It determines its immunity, so it's immune to one of the whichever one you pick. and the damage of its infused strikes, and the infused strike is a reaction it gets, which is the other big important feature here. When another creature within 30 feet of the Drake that it can see hits a target with a weapon attack, the Drake infuses the strike with its essence, causing the target to take a bonus d6 damage determined by its Draconic essence. So every round, if you hit a creature within 30 feet of the Drake, it can use its reaction to do a bonus d6 damage to that creature. Every round. Just for the Drake's reaction. It also comes with a bite
cool.
that does some piercing damage that hits pretty hard. It's pretty good.
I like that because, I mean, you still have your reaction.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be your shot. If you miss your attack roll, you can have the fighter get the bonus from the infused strikes, right? You can have the rogue or whoever else is within 30 feet of the Drake. It also lets the Drake play like either as you send out the hound while you shoot from a distance, or you can be right up in there with it and it'll work on either of those sheets as long as you're maintaining that 30-foot distance. Or it's maintaining the 30-foot distance with the monsters that you're shooting. It doesn't care where you are, it just cares where it is. Okay, that whole giant chunky feature, Bob. Any other thoughts before we jump into the other third level feature?
Now you got a dragon.
It's got 5 plus 5 times your ranger level, which is a good chunk of hit points. So it's going to be pretty durable. A third level coming with base 20. Sick.
Yeah, I mean, all the way through, this is like a big, massive hit points that you can keep bringing back. And,
it's offensively inexpensive to get back.
Yes.
It is like, this thing is going to come into the game with more hit points than you have, and then you're going to continually bring it back over and over and over again. Your spell slots are routinely going to be getting this thing off of 0 if you want to. Like, you only need to do it like twice probably before the DM runs out of the encounters and you take a long rest. So you're still going to have most of your spell slots for other things too. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, basic play pattern. You shoot stuff, bonus action, tell it what to do. It attacks. It uses it attacking as your bonus action is pretty easy. And then every round you get that reaction d6 damage extra. It's great.
All right, what else will we get a third?
Draconic Gift is the third level feature you get. So this lets you, at third level, the bond you share with the Drake creates a connection to the dragon kind, granting you understanding and empowering your presence. You gain the following benefits. You learn Thaumaturgy. Cool. And you get Tongue of Dragons. You learn to speak, read, and write Draconic. Or another language of your choice. I don't know why you'd pick another one. Probably if you already had Draconic.
Yes. I like that the text is there, because if you have Draconic, then you get nothing from this.
I mean, you're already getting close to nothing from this, as far as the Draconic goes. But
if the feature's there, I want to get whatever crap it is.
You don't want to miss out if you're a Dragonborn Drake Warden and don't get to lose out on a free language. I get it. I like Thaumaturgy a lot. I think it's an underrated little cosmetic cantrip. A lot of cool stuff to be done with it. It is a fun effect that if you read it multiple times, you will find ways to incorporate it in below tier play. It's never going to be like revolutionary, but it's a cute little expanded utility belt. Why not have it alongside this baller, amazing third level feature? Moving on to 7th level then, we got Bond of Fang and Scale. At 7th level, the bond you share with your Drake intensifies, protecting you and stoking the Drake's fury. When you summon your Drake, it grows wings on its back and gains a flight speed equal to its walking speed. So now you have a 40-foot fly speed dragon. In addition, while the Drake is summoned, you and the Drake gain the following benefits. Drake mount. The Drake grows to medium size. Reflecting your special bond, you can use the Drake as a mount if your size is medium or smaller. While you're riding the Drake, it can't use the flying speed of this feature. So you can ride it if you want to. You just can't fly around with it if you're also on its back. Gets Magic Fang. The Drake's bite attack does a bonus d6 damage based on the Draconic Essence, which is a great upgrade to get. And it gets resistance. You gain resistance to the damage type chosen by the Drake's Draconic Essence. So if you pick fire, you get resistance to fire damage.
I think, what does this look like? A medium-sized dragon and you, a medium-sized person, are riding it. Is it like an ostrich?
I mean, it's on all fours. It's a Drake. It's got wings now, right? Because like picture a guard Drake like that, and then it is medium is just anything under 10 feet, generally speaking. Like anything smaller than large.
Right.
Yes, it is smaller than a horse. Most horses.
A horse is.
It's like pony sized.
Okay, yeah.
A little bit larger than pony is probably the vibe we get here. Oh, excuse me, choking my spit. This is a cute little utility upgrade, especially because now you have just this thing that you can like whistle and ferry around, and you have a medium-sized hawk functionally that's like diving onto people and mauling them. That again is going unbelievably fast. It's nice that you can ride around on this. You do want to keep in mind that if you're a melee-based ranger, it goes after you. So if you want it to use its movement,
you're gonna want to
have a bow at disposal, so you can jump between using the bow and melee weapons that you have.
All right, if you're riding this? What does that play pattern look like? You are doing your action and then it moves. Like, can it move and then you attack? If I want to attack that guy over there, I say, okay, go over there, and I attack because I mean this says it goes after you,
Yes,
so you can't do that.
correct. You can ready your action to like as a reaction on whenever the Drake engages, you can make the attack roll, but it'll be one attack roll, so you won't get extra attack with it. But you more likely want to be like I'm riding it around, shooting shots from a distance as it's mauling, and then I switch into scimitars or whatever.
Yeah, that's inconvenient.
Yeah, a little bit. You can so this also plays with the mounted combatant rules, which I can pull up, which is
You're
relevant,
talking about
obviously, because
just straight up like regular mounted combat or the
yes,
mounted
regular
combat
mounted
and
combat.
feet? No, all right, okay,
Well, I mean, the feat plays into it,
right.
but the gist is you have controlled mounts and non-controlled mounts, and if you have a controlled mount, you disable its means of taking free actions on its own. So you could use its speed, and it wouldn't. I believe it wouldn't have its action as the gist of it on its turn. Like you're controlling where it is going, which you'd ever really want to do because its action's kind of important.
Hmm.
So you're gonna have to figure out exactly how you want to work with that. But I believe, by default will move after your turn, and then you have to reckon with however that positions you.
I don't like that, but I mean, is that just a knight on a horse? Does that work the same way?
So again, it depends if you control the mount or if the mount acts independently. An independent mount will move as it wants, and you can tell it where to move if it's like, a Feinstein or whatever, but it
Hmm.
will move on its turn, not your turn. If you want to control it and use its speed, it is you control the mount, and that's the
But
different
does
variation, and then it doesn't take actions and stuff
but
with that.
does it move on your
Yes, then it uses
initiative
its speed on your
after
turn.
you?
Uh,
I mean, the
then
after you is the part that's getting me here.
it moves after your turn currently.
Right.
If you control it, it moves on your turn, so you can attack after it moves.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
You generally, again speaking, don't want to do that because it denies its attack, and its attack is relevant. You can bonus action give it that attack roll because you have
Wait,
to
are you talking about a horse or the dragon?
both.
Well, no, you can't do that with the dragon, can you?
Yes, you can. If you're mounting your dragon, you can ride it as a mount and take Finnick or take control of it to use its speed on your turn.
Okay.
I
I was
believe
not
by the
aware of that.
mounted rules.
Okay.
The mounted rules aren't great.
Yeah, yeah, for a horse I don't care, but for a dragon, oh yeah, the attack is pretty sweet. I don't want to miss out on that.
Yeah, I pulled up the
Ooh,
rules. I finally found it. It's controlling a mount is where this all is at. Its independent mount retains its place in initiative order, which is why it would go after you. The controlled mount, you get the do the thing. It only has three action options: dash, disengage, and dodge. So it could dash still, it could dodge still. It can still take its reaction, but it won't get its action for the turn otherwise.
what
Unless
if you
again, doing
cast
those three things.
what if you cast Awaken on it?
I mean, why would you need to?
Because then it could be independent.
It's already able to be independent.
Yeah, man, I'm confused.
It's okay. We're not gonna. I don't think we should special on this too much
No,
longer.
no, no. Okay, okay. Go on. So, all right,
the
the gist of it is though, you have to choose between the lesser of two evils. You either can not move until after you do your action, or sacrifice your Drake's attack.
correct.
Okay, gotcha. Move on.
The general gist of it. Drake's Breath is the 11th level feature, so at 11th level as an action, you can exhale a 30-foot cone of damaging breath or cause your Drake to exhale it. Choose acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage, your choice, and it doesn't have to match your Drake's chronic essence, which I think is kind of dumb, honestly. Each creature in the cone makes a dex save or takes against your spell save DC, taking 8d6 damage on a failed save or half as much as success. The damage increases to 10d6 when you reach 15th level in this class. Love to see auto scaling. And once you use this feature, you can't again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend a third level or higher slot to do so.
I, I mean,
What?
I guess I'm happy that you have the option to do this, but it doesn't like you're a Drake Warden. Like this feels like a weird ability to get. Like,
Yeah.
oh, Oh, because I've been taking care of this dragon, I could suddenly breathe acid.
Notable rules about this: you will always spend your action doing this, so your Drake can't take this action. You use your action to cause the Drake to do it. So you can't like bonus action command it to Drake's breath. I believe rules is written because it says as an action you exhale it or cause your Drake to exhale it. So that's
Yeah.
important. That's important to keep in mind. Now your Drake can still take its action if you give it a bonus action to bite or whatever, so it can exhale the cone and then bite on its turn. But you can't like attack twice doing this. Still, this is like just kind of access to Fireball that you get a free use of. Yeah,
Mhm.
and upscales automatically at 15th level. Sure. I don't hate this. It's not amazing, but it's fine.
Let me one more thing. When you choose the damage type and that's permanent from there on out, or do you get to choose a different one every time?
Every time you get to pick again.
Oh, oh, that's handy.
Yeah, I don't love that thematically. I think it'd be
No.
cool if the black drakes did poison and the red drakes did fire, like the dragons in the game do, but extra flexibility never hurt anybody. If you're annoyed by it like me, you can just default to doing that damage type and be like, no, it's stupid otherwise. This I even though they're immune to poison, this drake gets poison damage. Damn it, that can be the hill you die on for no good reason. You're allowed to do that. I probably would,
If I was switching things up, I would say, all right, only the Drake can breathe the damage.
but you can
You
do anything.
can't, huh?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Uh, but it doesn't take your turn to make him do it.
Yeah, I think this would be a better feature if it were worded that way. Like your
Yeah,
Drake got a new action,
right.
basically. Um, this being said, like this technically could be something you do when your Drake isn't up, but given that you can just dunk a first level spell slot to get your Drake back up, I don't really see that much of a like. I think I'd be hard pressed to see a character or Drake Warden go down, like a Drake stop coming back up before the Drake Warden went down. Like I think you're more likely to have the Ranger die than the Drake permanently die because of just how easy it is to get back on its feet.
Yeah.
So like it's it's not going to be that much of an action cost uh to like get the Drake out of there. Yeah, I think the Drake should be able to do it. I agree. I don't think you'd need to necessarily do it. It's still fine though. It is what it is. What is written is better than what we are pitching. So and it's at the end of the day, it's a 30-foot cone fireball.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a
Or
nice little
acid
boon.
ball.
Get area effect damage on your rangers. I'm not opposed to it, especially because you get a use for free. If you didn't get a use for free, it'd be much lower on this, but getting the use for free is pretty nice. We end on 15th level with Perfected Bond. At 15th level, your bond to your Drake reaches the pinnacle of its power. While your Drake is summoned, you and the Drake gain the following benefits. Empowered Bite. The Drake's bite does a bonus d6 damage based on the Port's Draconic Essence for a total of 2d6 extra damage. So bite will do 1d6 piercing plus 2d6 elemental. The Drake is now large. When you ride your Drake, it's no longer prohibitive using its fly speed of the
Woohoo!
Bond of Fang and Scale. So you can fly around on it now, which is awesome. It also gets
Yeah.
reflexive resistance. When either you or the Drake takes damage while you're within 30 feet of each other, you can use your reaction to give yourself or the Drake resistance to that instance of damage. You can use this reaction number of times equal to your proficiency bonus and gain your law back when you finish a long rest. Neat.
Yeah, this is a proper capstone feature for this subclass. Like
Six instances of resistance to damage is pretty good. The large size flying around on the dragon definitely like fits that top end fantasy that I would want for it,
that's
right?
I mean that would be enough for me. That just delivering on the fantasy. Maybe it's not the most powerful thing in the world, but if I'm a Drake Warden, like being rewarded for achieving 15th level by being able to fly around on a dragon, that's that's it. That's enough.
Yeah. I really think this option does a superb job delivering the fantasy that it's saying it does, right? From
Yeah.
start to finish, you automatically start off with a little baby breath weapon and infused strike, right? Where
Hmm.
your dragon like breathes a little bit of breath to empower weapon attack. And it's not a perfect one for one, but you get the gist of a full dragon out the gate. And then as you level up, it literally grows with you. It gets more damage, it gets bigger, it gets to do the dragon stuff, it gets more hit points, it gets larger mechanically. You ride it more, you start by riding it on the ground, but it can fly separately to you, and then eventually you get the full Dragon Rider, Aragon slash all the other, huge dragon fantasy novel character type.
Yeah.
You get that fantasy delivered perfectly. It goes really great on Ranger too, because again, from the skies, you want to be using a longbow or a crossbow or whatever, and just like raining hell from above while your dragon flies around breathing fire. That's a super cool, super sweet fantasy to go with. Now, that particular interaction still doesn't work great because you can't make attack rolls, so you have to use your action to make it to the breath weapon. So it's a
Yes.
little bit clunky still, but I
There's
love the thematics of it.
there's a lot of clunky things in it.
A couple, yeah.
And I do think it's funny that I mean, I kind of like how it ages as you level up, but I could see inconsistencies happening if you meet like an NPC Drake Warden who's had his dragon for 50 years, but it's still a little baby. But you've had yours a week and it's full grown now.
There's something like that is deeply funny about just D&D adventuring timeline where it's
Yeah,
like, oh no, randomly it's been 2 months, but we went from level 3 to level 16.
yeah.
Now I am a master of the blade, and that guy that I went to high school with, he's like trained his whole life for this, and he's a level 4 fighter still. Like, and this definitely is like, how did that happen? That was this big last time I saw
Yeah, but
him.
that I mean, yeah, that's one. I mean, that could be explained with, well, I've just been fighting a lot more than that guy, but this is biology,
Yeah, it's magic biology. It's
That's
fine.
true.
I do
One,
think like
go
this
ahead.
the bulk of the power of this option obviously is having a summon companion. That's very, very good. And while there is a little bit of clunkiness, I don't think you get a dead level. I think I'm kind of excited to get every single feature we get here.
Mm,
It's just the weakest one I think probably is like Drake's Breath, and that's still just like a fine ability, getting access to AoE damage on a class that wants access to AoE damage, and it's decent. Again, it's at rate for Fireball, but you get a free use, so you kind of like get one bonus slot over it, and you get to like put it from two different positions. It's not amazing, but it's fine. It all
yeah.
comes together to be a really serviceable, powerful option, especially in the low tiers. When a low tier Drake Warden, it's like adding a whole extra character to the party, and that is I cannot express enough just how powerful that
Or
is.
just like this, resummonable meat shield.
It chews through. So again, getting a third level, it gets 5 times your ranger level hit points, so it's 20. A third level ranger, if we do the D8, it's got what, D8 or D10 hit dice? Do you remember off the top of your head? Let's be
No.
generous and call it D10s, right?
Okay.
It is looking like literally it'll have almost identical or about or one or two fewer hit points than you the will as a character. And you can just get that back as an action with a first level spell slot. You can just like
Yep.
bolster out 60 hit points worth for your spell slots. Sure. That's going to be hard to kill permanently.
Oh yeah. Um, the one criticism I have with this is that people are gonna take this not reading carefully, and they're gonna think they can use it in a certain way, and the DM is gonna constantly say, "Actually, that's not how it works. Yeah, you have to use your action now, then it can move, blah blah blah. Um, yeah, it used its breath
It,
weapon. That was your action, like that
I
sort of
don't,
thing."
I think half of it is mounted combat's fault. I think mounted combat isn't great. I do think the other half is like, yeah, there's not like it doesn't smoothly play,
No.
right? Like Drake's Breath definitely is, I think, gonna catch a lot of people to be like, oh, it can use an action. This is an action, so it uses
Mhm.
its action, its turn with my bonus action. No,
Right.
not how that works. Unfortunately, that's how it should work, but it is
Yes.
not how it works. So there will be a little bit of tension here. I think you're right. I'm still giving it an A. I think it delivers on the fantasy. It grows really well. It's unbelievably powerful, especially in the low tiers. And in the mid tiers, it's still going to be cool as hell. This is, if you like dragons and want to play the Dragon Rider character, I cannot recommend a better option for you. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I'll give it an A minus. I mean, yes, it is amazing. A lot of people are still going to want to play it, but I think it could have been done a little bit better.
I think we get cleaned up
Just
a little bit. I think like
yeah,
one more draft of this would have helped it a
right.
lot.
Yeah. But
It,
as it stands, it's really cool. Like you said, there's no dead levels.
I'm a little bit shocked that this doesn't. Shocked isn't the right word. Just surprised. The other Ranger subclasses up to this point got the bonus Conclave spells table, and this didn't. And I'm wondering if that was the deliberate choice or if they just like the designer didn't know what the convention was. And I find that confusing. And I think it's an indicator of like
I think they,
internally there not being great communication between the people that make this game. But
I don't know. They thought, he's getting a dragon. He doesn't need any more spells.
I guess maybe
And
there's a deliberate choice
I mean,
behind it. I don't know.
and
I'm
you can
not
use,
able to tell intent.
I mean, you can use your spell slots for the dragon, for
Yeah,
resummoning it, or for the Drake's breath. So I
yeah.
mean, that's similar to getting bonus spells.
Yeah, Drake's breath is like almost identical to getting like a Kona cold, right?
Yeah,
Um, just like downshifted to level. But it's neither here nor there. I think it's pretty awesome.
yeah, that's cool. This is a fantasy that a lot of people have. and this delivers on it.
Out the gate and in the future. It's perfect.
All right. Well, that was Drake Warden, and that thus concludes our Ranger subclasses.
My
Our
biggest
league.
takeaway was these were actually kind of awesome. Like there was only one or two that were like not great, but the rest of
Yeah,
them
I wasn't
we gave a
thrilled
lot
with
of B's here, a lot of
Monster
A's.
Slayer. Uh, I don't remember a lot of the rest of it. Like I like. It's gonna sound crazy, but I think Hunter might be my favorite.
Well, you're the kind of guy who likes Thief Rogue, right? Like you
Yeah.
like the clean, simple, digestible,
Mm.
awesome option to deliver on archetype, and that
I
does that.
also, but on the other end of the spectrum, I also really like Fey Wanderer.
Yeah, fair. I that's also like Gloomstalker is super cool and is
Gloomstalker
powerful,
too, yeah.
right? I think even Horizon Walker has some redeeming qualities. And I think that's one of the weaker of the options,
Oh,
but
yeah,
like,
I forgot that's the one I forgot about, Horizon
yeah,
Walker.
a
Yeah,
lot of cool stuff here.
that's got some neat things, but I'm just so distracted. Like, you know where portals are. That's what's stuck in my head.
Which isn't the meat of the text, at least. There's
No,
real text
no, it's
there, you
not.
know?
Yeah, I know. Ah, but yeah, Drake Warden, iconic, good stuff. All right, thank you, Sam. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Let us know your thoughts. I know there's got to be some Drake Warden fans out there. Give us your stories. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.